So I guess for some, guiding questions for the breakout room, like your name, your pronoun, what you do for work, what you do for fun. Maybe no. Start with like your name, pronoun, and where you live, and then talk about like what you do for work. Talk about what you do for fun. Talk about what values are important to you. For Green Party values are important to you. What issues are important to you. Something like that. Here, I'll put that here. And I'll end it after like 7 minutes. That's all we'll do. 7 minutes. Okay, I'm doing it. Everyone get ready. Looks like it's just recording this room here, which is fine. Sorry, I wasn't sure who you were, so I don't know. Like the whole reason we have this waiting room thing is to make sure no one suspicious joins. I guess here I'll rename you. All right, so everyone else, all other people are in breakout rooms right now. They are, just talking about. They're just like doing some introductions, so we'll do that as well. So yeah, when we do our big, with everyone in the same call, it's like hard to kind of get to know each other. So we're doing these breakout rooms. All right, cool. So we're gonna start with name, pronoun, location. So I'm Jay Walker, he, him pronouns, and I live in Shadyside in Pittsburgh. And I'm gonna pass it to Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel, female pronouns, and I live in Carrick right now.
I'm Riley, he, him. I live in Upper St. Clair.
Cool. Now, the next question is, what do you do for work or fun? We'll start with Riley first.
Well, for work, I mean, this is the closest thing I do to work right now. I just graduated high school. For fun, I like to write stuff. I have an aquarium. I like to play video games.
All right, now call on someone.
Oh, Rachel.
Yeah, so for work right now, I work a handful of days at the hospital. I work this Saturday, being an inpatient dietitian. And for fun, I also like to write. At least that's what I've been doing recently. I guess I also like to dance, and just take walks outside. And I've been going out in nature a lot too.
I guess I'll go. So I'm a community organizer for a environmental nonprofit. That's what I do for work. And I guess I also do this fellowship with One Pennsylvania. That's kind of, it's paid, I guess. So it's sort of work-like, but it's pretty fun. And other than that, what I do for fun, I like to play Ultimate Frisbee, although I haven't been able to play in a while. I like board games a lot, more than you can probably imagine. I like board games. Let's see. I like to watch StarCraft, this 20-year-old computer game that very few people play now, but it's still very fun to watch.
I also like 20-year-old computer games that nobody plays anymore.
Perfect. I guess that's my main hobby. Those are my main hobbies. I also like dance, but that's like, I don't know. Who knows when we're going to be able to go dancing ever again. So I'm not trying to get my hopes up on that one. Oh, and I like to watch soccer. I like to watch soccer a lot. Basically, anything that I like a lot. That's for sure. I don't like anything a little bit. All right, cool. What's that?
Do you like Scrabble or do you like Frisbee golf?
I have played Frisbee golf. I play with like Ultimate Frisbee discs, so not like, there's like a bunch of different, like I don't have any drivers or putters or anything like that. But I'll play it once in a while. One second. Okay, sorry, I'm sending a 5-minute warning to everyone else. All right, the last question is, what green value is important to you and what issues?
I can go first.
Cool.
Really just, I mean, all the issues pretty much, but I guess like taking money out of politics is a big one, and you know, anything environmental like the Green New Deal, and well, the thing that I'm really passionate about is Medicare for all. I guess those are the main ones. But really, I haven't really like, I think all of them though.
That's good. All right, I'll go next. I feel like ones that I vibe with a lot, well, I don't know. It's just become so clear what parties are Green Party issues and like not Democratic Party issues. You know, before the lines were kind of unclear, like there are Democrats who are advocating for a lot of these things, but very clearly the Democrats drew their line in the sand, and like it's like legalizing marijuana, Medicare for all, cutting the military budget. It's like very clear that those are strictly Green Party issues, maybe some Libertarian Party issues. But one big one that I was thinking about is reparations. You know, this movement for a People's Party, and they, I don't know, they have a lot of similar issues to us, but I realize that they don't have reparations, and that's like a big part of the Green Party platform. So I think that's really important. Yeah, and what issue? So I guess it's issue, what value? All right, we're gonna go to you, Riley.
At this point, honestly, I could give or take anything that doesn't involve climate change, because nothing else matters if the planet fucking dies.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like that's pretty much all I have to say about that at this point. I mean, I believe in like maybe not necessarily automatic runoff voting, but some form of ranked choice voting. Although I'm going to be honest, my faith in democracy has been slipping a bit in recent weeks. But it is what it is. Medicare for all is important. College for all is important. Abolish homelessness. You know, like those are the big ones, I guess. End the wars.
You guys are back.
Yep. We
How'd it go?
And then we spoke more, you know, had some general conversation, and then we said it's time to come back.
Cool. Good. Did it work? Should we do this in the future?
No.
Okay. Stick to the bait call.
I would say yes, but much short, maybe 4 minutes.
Was it too long? 10 minutes too long?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Maybe because like I don't know, you guys don't know each other as well, so it makes it more awkward or something.
Feel
No, it's
awkward.
6:20. The meeting started at 6. You know, we haven't done anything yet, so.
Yeah. Well, Marcy, this I guess you missed it earlier. Well, no, actually you might have caught it. Yeah.
I did. You don't have an agenda.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, you have an agenda for every meeting anyway. I mean, it's just like a template.
Well,
And
no, it's
where's Tom? Is Tom here today?
No, Tom's not here today.
Okay. Well, are you facilitating?
Yes.
Do you want me to pull up an agenda?
I
website?
dropped one in the Slack. It's like just what I read off though. Here, I'll paste it.
Okay. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, I'm closing the breakout rooms. They're closing in a minute.
Okay. I mean, I'm so used to Tom just keeping things.
I know,
going.
yeah. He really moves it along. He's great. He's great. We didn't have our executive committee this week because when was it? It was last Monday, and I don't know, everything was just so crazy. So we haven't had committee meetings in a month. Yeah, basically everything's been on pause, so we're just trying to like get back in order. All right, 10 seconds till everyone's back. All right. I think we got everyone. Cool. Okay, I'll paste this agenda. Loose agenda.
Jay, do you think the breakout room thing saved time?
I think what it did was just made the meeting more personal for people rather than kind of like 5 people talking and everyone else just kind of listening, you know? That's my hope anyway. I mean, it definitely saves time from like everyone doing an intro, like answering all those questions all together. That would have taken forever. So I don't know. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about our petitioning efforts. It's a debrief. So, you know, like what went well, what went poorly. Yeah. How do we want to do this? I think people can just kind of take turns. We'll do that. I don't think I need to do stack.
I was just going to suggest we do stack, just so that people don't interrupt other people.
Okay. I feel like it's tricky for everyone to access the chat, but no one is on their phone, so that's helpful. No one's on there like calling in. All right, if you want to go on the stack, you should type in the chat or like raise your hand or something.
Yeah, if you can't do that, yeah, either raise your hand using the raise hand thing or just like physically on the video. If you're not on video and you're just on audio, you can just say like, Kelly, stack, real quick. Just so that you don't interrupt anyone. Okay, that's it.
Kelly, do you want to keep track of the stack?
Sure.
Okay, great. Well, who wants to start? Who has something to say about something that went well in our petitioning effort? Oh, I guess I should announce what happened also. We submitted 8,000 petitions for Howie and Angela, and we submitted 1,000 petition signatures for my race, and I think 350 for Michael's. Is that right, Michael?
45.
345. Okay. So, and then, you know, all of the petition signatures for Angela and Howie also count for Richard and Olivia and Tim Runkle. So all of our, and then with regards to Garrett and Noel Rivera in Reading, they did not have enough signatures, so they did not file. They did, like, their signatures counted for the statewide candidates also, so we sent them, but they did not file themselves. Yeah, so the challenge period is 1 week, and I don't know, we're just kind of like fingers crossed that nothing bad happens, but we'll see. All right, I'm opening it up for who has some thoughts on what went well. Anyone? I guess I can start. What went well? We had a lot of people involved, like with gathering signatures, which was crazy. Apparently, in the past, the way the Green Party of Allegheny County has gathered signatures is that like 3 to 5 people gather a ton of signatures. Actually, Marcy, can you speak to that? Just like what we've done for signature gathering in the past, like, does that sound right? And David.
Why don't you let David say, because, you know, first, one name comes to mind, and that's Ed Bortz.
Yeah, I don't know where, David's not on the line right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, another thing is Ed used to do a lot of signaturing at the Three Rivers Arts Festival, and he was really into signatures. He usually headed up the signature drive, and that's really all I have to say about it because I can't stand getting signatures. I mean, I have really bad memories of doing it in Dauphin County, so.
Yeah, I think so. We did it different. We had like lots and lots of people, like, I don't know, 50 people gathering signatures, like a little bit of signatures each, rather than like a few people doing like 50 hours or something of signature gathering. So that was a plus. Was that we had we had a lot of volunteers. Over. What about this? Like, people who gathered signatures for the first time, what was your experience like?
I guess I'll start. Oh, go. You can start.
Are you?
Yeah. I'll just start. Go ahead. So you start. you first. You first.
I probably would not. I'm right now the best petition gatherer. I'm like not very loud, especially with a mask over my face. But it was interesting. I thought it was really cool when people would take the Green Party literature with them to look over, because even if they weren't willing to sign the petition, you know, they brought that and maybe their friends see it or their family see it. So pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I got a lot of different responses. It was a much more positive experience than I thought it would be. Just because I didn't know how friendly people were about it. I was in front of the Dying Eagle, and like there were like, I think it's different actually just because of the pandemic, because like you see people walking and they don't, not only do they not want to hear what you have to say, but they don't want to be like 6 feet within near you, and they kind of like, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of things in people's minds, and a lot of people have a lot of fear about a lot of things that are like kind of unrelated, but then it's like everyone's in a very different mind state. But some people were so excited to sign it, and it like made, like, you know what I mean, and it made me like so happy to see that. And I think it was a really good experience, and I think it's I would recommend everyone do it at least one time because of how helpful it was. And I really like enjoyed it, like, and especially because of how isolated I've been for a while in a way, to like actually go out and be able to like talk to people in person. It was like kind of made me feel like I was like part of society again a little bit more. But yeah, it was a very good experience, and I do recommend it.
That's awesome. Thanks, Rachel, for sharing. I'm really glad that you had a good first experience, because as we saw from Marcy's opinion of petitioning, everyone has a good first experience. And, you know, petitioning is hard sometimes. And with the pandemic, both Alexis and Rachel said, you know, it's hard because people don't want to come up to you even more than normal. I petitioned back in 2019 for our countywide positions that we were trying to run, and we didn't get enough signatures to get on the ballot that time. We had a rough time organizing, but that was my first experience petitioning, and it was hard without a pandemic, just to like grab people's attention and be like, hi, could you take a minute just to sign this petition to help me get on the ballot, or my friends get on the ballot, or anything, because people just don't understand the electoral process at all. Like, they don't know what they're signing up for. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk about politics at all. So yeah, having a pandemic on top of that made it even more challenging, and hearing that people are having good experiences and wanting to do this again is really awesome. I also personally felt a lot more, like, I felt really good petitioning because I was getting out of the house. I had been in mandatory quarantine during our petitioning efforts, so I wasn't helping out. And then that last week, I was finally able to go out, and it was amazing, just to talk to people and be outside the house. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I will say that I collected all my own signatures for school board in York City in 2003. It was a different time. It was totally different time. Got most of my signatures from a senior high-rise buildings. And the old people really found it something they wanted to do. It made them feel like, you know, somebody cared about them and their opinion, and they wanted to sign. So maybe that has something to say, but, you know, it's a different world. 17 years ago. And I was really much more encouraged. Back then, I was really into it. So a lot happens in 17 years.
When I've petitioned in the past, I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it even in places where a lot of people were turning me down. I was down in the South Hills petitioning for Liesl Middleman for DA. And it was still, some of the people surprise you, and some of them want to talk, and some of them want to walk by you. I really enjoyed it.
Mike is on stack. Mike, you want to go ahead and share?
Yeah, so petitioning in Venango County and Northern Butler County was an interesting experience. Even in the best of times, it's kind of hard to gather signatures because there aren't places where people gather a lot, except for like primary election day was always a good one for me. But I had a crack team from Allegheny County come up, and they circulated petitions and charmed my wife, and we had a good time that way. I think one of the interesting things about my petitioning was that my second largest gatherer of petitions was the chair of the Venango County Democrats. They've adopted this my campaign. And they're really pushing it. So it was nice. And then when I was feeling pretty down about a week ago, I didn't think I was going to get to the 300 signatures, and the Venango County chair and I spent the day driving around to all of his sure signs, and we ended up getting quite a few and going over the top. So it was a nice experience.
Nice, that's awesome. Good to know that you made that connection and that they were able to be like, oh, we know who to ask. So that's really helpful. Dominic is on stack. Go ahead.
Hey, I had kind of a hard time with it. It was really only my second time signature gathering. The first time I was door knocking, and it was like with like a turf and van and all of that. I found, by contrast, this one was, just strangers on the street, and the whole COVID thing. I got very few positive reactions. I got a lot of negative reactions, or just people ignoring me. So it was tough for me, but and I also didn't think that that PA was going to make it for the presidential. Some of the other ones, sure, since they're smaller numbers, but the 5,000, I didn't think that PA would get. So I'm really impressed to hear that that Greens across the state pulled it off. And I know a lot of our people here worked really hard to make that happen.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Dominic. Mike is on stack, and then Jay. Go ahead, Mike.
I just wanted to mention that talking about making it. Apparently, Carl Romanelli was able to mobilize and get 5,000 signatures in the last weekend. And most of them were in Allegheny County, which was pretty freaking amazing. He was able to call in some past debt, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about him or how that effort went, but if anyone who knows more cares to share, that would be cool. But Jay, it's your turn, and then we can go back to that.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that. So we had some sort of like last second heroic effort that was completely unexpected. You know, like I think I was like talking to Riley about this in the car. Like, no one is going to come out of nowhere and like do this work for us magically. But that's actually exactly what happened. Someone came out of nowhere and did all the work for us magically. So they're definitely like paid petitioners. These signatures came from paid petitioners. It's really unclear where the money came from. That's something that we're gonna need to figure out, like who paid them. And it's also kind of crazy and scary that this could happen without anyone knowing. You know, like I don't know. It just makes us feel like a little powerless. You know, it's sort of like I don't know. It was just there's still a lot of questions about it. It's concerning who the money came from. You know, like maybe it came from Greens. Maybe it came from GPS. I don't think it came from the Howie campaign. I don't know. I'm like, you know, something in the back of my mind says maybe it was like Republicans who paid for this or something like that. But, you know, I don't feel so bad about it because the court case was so effed up. You know, the fact that they said gathering signatures isn't affected at all by COVID is completely bananas. It's so crazy. So, like, you know what? Fuck them. We should have been able to get our people on the ballot. If it wasn't for COVID, we absolutely would have been able to get our people on the ballot ourselves. And yeah, that decision was just absolutely nuts. So I don't know. There's still some questions to be answered, but I don't know. Not super duper concerned about it. Yeah. What? Okay, Michael, I feel like I should just pass it back to Michael to say that.
I just want to say that I'm amused to hear that Carl showed up in Allegheny County and all that. He was, last time I know that he was here was when we were having the Jill Stein rally thing that we had in 2016. And it was really good to see Carl. And he's a character. Anyway, that's all I want to say.
Just adding to what Jay said, Carl was in Harrisburg yesterday. I got to talk to him a little bit. And what he said was that the folks that were, the company that was doing the petition gathering, the signature gathering, is a company that does that for their work. But these were, it was a training session for new hires. And I mean, I don't know if that's bullshit or not, but that was the story Carl was given, and that they did not have to pay. Apparently this company was getting money from the PPP, whatever, the payroll protection plan, or whatever the hell the government passed. And so it was a way for them to train new workers. So I don't know. It could have been. Could just as well have been a Republican thing. You know, like get the Greens on. We'll screw the Democrats. Don't say anything about it. But that's what Carl said.
Interesting. Do you happen to know? You don't have to announce it on the call, but do you happen to know? If you happen to know the company, I would be interested, and we could talk about it offline. No, okay. I definitely want to do some digging personally. Jay, you want to say something?
That guy told us the name of the company. I just don't remember. It's like,
okay.
They usually do referendums. Like they go from state to state getting signatures for referendums.
Interesting. Well, that is definitely helpful, and that definitely shows the power of money and how paying people to do stuff gets them to do stuff. They collected more than we collected the whole rest of the time across the state just in that last week. So on the one hand, we could try to raise money to pay people, but like that's just not in the scope right now. So let's just talk about other things we could do to improve. What strategies did people notice worked or didn't work? How did you sort of tweak your spiel throughout the week or weeks? Anybody?
I will say one challenge. One challenge that I had was trying to get petitioning going where I wasn't physically there. I don't know. I didn't like. I don't know. Maybe it was possible, and I just didn't like put in the effort properly into like helping get people the equipment that they needed. But it just like felt like. I don't know. I guess we just like didn't have a lot of petitioning experience. That's really what it was. Because a lot of people in our party were kind of new to our party. So it's like kind of hard to just get the sheet and just go out and do it on your own. You know, there's so many like tricks that you learn from doing it over and over that, I don't know. Like I felt like I had to like be there when people were doing it for the first time, you know, whereas someone experienced had to be there.
Yeah, and that comes back to like providing more training for our newer members and even for our older members who, you know, have been around a while but maybe haven't done any petitioning before. Because like last year, I had been around for a little while, but I hadn't petitioned before. Like I hadn't petitioned for Jay in 2018, so 2019 was the first time I ever did it. It looks like Elaine has a comment. She says she just emphasized that she was trying to get a name on the ballot and it was a ballot access issue rather than a petition, a subject, an issue, or whatever. I sort of implied to the person listening that quote unquote ballot access is unobjectionable. Yeah, and Mike said what she said. Yeah. So telling people like, you're just signing to try to help this person get their name on the ballot, you're not committing anything, definitely was helpful. Beth said it does help to have someone experienced with you. And she had a partner the first 2 times she went. And I definitely agree. Even if it's a less experienced person, just having 2 people there, you feel better because it's like it's 2-on-1, right? When you're talking to someone, not to sound like, you know, you're trying to like attack them, but it's easier when you have someone to back you up. Feel like someone's on your side.
Something that I found helpful, and this is something that Jay taught me when I was having really, really bad luck when we were collecting signatures for Michael, is to, rather than say like, hey, we're trying to get the Green Party ballot access, or hey, we're trying to get this candidate ballot access, say, hey, my friend so-and-so is running for this office and I would really appreciate it if you helped get them on the ballot. Because, you know, that makes it seem less political, I guess, and less cynical and what's the word? I don't know, but like
more personable.
Yeah, it's more personable, and it's like it's less like you're pushing an agenda and more like you're helping out a friend, right? And that's more tolerable to people. That's what I found. I had much better luck after I started saying that.
Right. Yeah, I always say, my friends are running for office, or my friend is running for office, and it helps so much because people are like, oh, like a real person. Richard said earlier in the chat that it helped that he was one of the candidates, so he could be like, you know, I'm running for office, and people feel more obliged, I think, when you're like, I need this favor, not just like, this is on behalf of someone who doesn't exist. Like, they want to see that the person is a real person, because politics is generally this thing that is just so disconnected from reality for a lot of people. So it's
That definitely, oh, sorry. That definitely helped me too when I was running for school board and collecting signatures. And I think my being so young bought me a lot of goodwill with people, I think, there. But I had like I feel like at least 70% of people I feel like at least 70% of the people I asked when I was the candidate did sign without any further questions, which was kind of nice. Yeah.
Michelle, you were on Stack?
Yeah, I ran for school board last year, and I just wanted to kind of give some input for some ideas. What Riley was saying was good, because I'm a shy type person. I'm not a person to walk up to anybody and just start speaking. So I would always take one of my super extroverted friends with me, and they would say, oh, my friend's running for Penn Hills, you know, and they would be like, is she gonna change things? And they would say, yeah, here she is. And then they'd start talking to me, and then we would get more signatures. And so to have a person with you that's opposite you is really, I think, a really good idea. And the whole idea of stay away, because some of them would then say, well, what party are you? And I would say, well, I'm an independent. And then they were like, oh, okay. And then they would be more willing. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely having, like, if you have two people whose skills complement each other, it definitely helps. I was actually thinking about that the other day, and how it could be easier to train some people who are more maybe introverted or just afraid of public speaking or talking to people, just get nervous. You could have them, we could do a training kind of thing where we teach them how to, like, you know, help someone fill out the form and, like, you know, make sure they fill it out all correctly, because there are so many different parts of petitioning, right? Being the outgoing person, grabbing someone's attention, getting them to sign is one part of it, but then actually, like, helping them fill out the form is another part that is important to remember. And on days where I was, you know, starting to get exhausted, I noticed that I had a lot more signatures that were just, like, not correct, you know, didn't say street or road, or said PGH instead of Pittsburgh. And I just, like, I was mentally fatigued, so I wasn't paying attention to all those details. If you have two people, you can train one person to just be the person who, like, does the physical, holding the clipboard, having people sign, and the other person can just be the person who's going up to people and saying, hey, this person's running for office, help me. And they never have to touch the clipboard.
So related to this, I have sort of like a question that I want like to hear people's thoughts on. Is it dishonest to tell people that we are running as independents? Because I feel like it's, when people hear independent, they think independent from the two major parties, which we are, and just independent is so much less stigmatized. Like it's almost like upheld as this sort of noble thing, whereas third parties are generally like mocked and belittled and treated as a joke. So I don't know, like I didn't use that line on anybody because I felt kind of bad doing it. But like if they don't, I don't know. What do you think about that?
When I did it, I wasn't agreeing yet. So you're right. I didn't say, you know, I said it because that's what I was. However, if, you know, I think you can say an independent. I don't know. Would Green consider itself an independent party? Because it's not Democrat, it's not Republican. So I don't know. It's a good question, Riley.
I was gonna say, so I don't think that it is like trickery or like trying to deceive people if you say independent, if that's just how you get them to understand that like you're not a Democrat or a Republican. Jay said that he talked about running independently in Venango since no one knew what the Green Party was. I think when I was in Venango, I kind of just said, oh, like they would say, is he a Democrat or a Republican? And I would say, he's neither. He's running with the Green Party, which is separate from Democrats and Republicans. Like, I would just say, like, it's a different thing. If you wanted to be kind of tricky, you could say, you know, he is independent of the Republican and Democratic parties, because that's true. But I mean, I think that whatever way gets people to understand, like, we're not Democrats or Republicans. If you throw in the words Green Party, that's probably better. But if you don't, I don't think it super matters. Anyone else have any comments on, like, anything really? Just final comments on your petitioning experiences. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I did want to, I guess, talk about the elephant in the room, and that was that at least among Democrats, the Green Party brand was a problem. A lot of them. I mean, I wish this was true, that we were so damn powerful that we're the ones that caused Bush and we're the ones that caused Trump. But it's bullshit. I wish we were, but we didn't. But that was still a problem that was being mouthed by a lot of Democrats. And I even had one guy that circulated a petition and then wouldn't give it to me because Howie Hawkins was on the petition. So not Howie Hawkins, but the Green stand-in was on the petition. So it was a problem.
I got a guy who threw like a legitimate tantrum at me, and he was like, "No, I do not appreciate you guys being out here right now. You know, you guys are the reason that Trump. Well, you steal all the votes. It's been proven. It's been proven. It's been proven." And like, I tried to tell him, like, no, exit polls actually show that Green voters would stay home if Greens were not on the ballot for the most part. And he just kept talking over me. No, it's been proven. It's been proven. It's been proven. And then he like said, "I think your party's a joke," and walked away and yelled it from like across the street, "Jill Stein is an abomination." What does that even mean?
Oh
I think
my
that
God.
falls into the don't spend much time on people who aren't interested. If you got talking that much, you probably talked to them too long.
I think one thing that I've learned, you know, since we're talking to strangers on the street, one huge thing is that most people are not like crazy partisan like that. You know, like that's like what we see on the internet is not indicative of what people are like in real life. More so in Squirrel Hill, though, that's for sure. Like Squirrel Hill has more of those types of people. But like, I mean, there was a guy registered to vote who had never heard of the Republican or Democratic Party, and that like blew my mind. But also, like, most people are like, you know, reasonable. They're willing to have a conversation. Their views aren't like the stereotype of a Democrat or Republican. They're like more complicated than that. And that gives me a lot of hope, you know, that there are people who are willing to have a conversation, you know, like it's not just the Russiagate stuff, you know.
Yeah. To echo, was that Beth who said you're spending too long talking to that person? I definitely agree. It's easy to get sucked into an argument sometimes. I try not to be argumentative. I try to be, you know, here, could I give you more information? Like, I just want to show you this. Like, please consider changing your mind. But one thing I was thinking about the other day is that there was this woman, I was talking to someone in the line for the farmer's market, like 2 people in front of her. And then she was like, "Democrat or Green Party?" And I was like, "Green Party?" And she goes, "We need the Democrats." And she like went on this rant, and I just kind of walked away and just like walked further down the line to people who hadn't heard her. But
I know.
I mean, I could have engaged, and one way to engage could be to say, you know, thanks for sharing. You're entitled to your opinion. Now I want to listen to this person's opinion that I was talking to.
I don't know. Sheep like that make me so unreasonably angry. But I don't think I did engage with him that much. Like, I think he just kind of started going off, and I was like, just kind of threw in there, okay, well, that's not true, but okay. And he just like kept going and then ran away. And like, not dwelling. I'm just a little bit irritated.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Jay mentioned there are lots of people who are excited when we say Green Party, and then we get their phone numbers or their emails, and that helps our party grow. So, good
To be
stuff.
fair, I have had my share of those people too, and that is very encouraging.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, you know, we've learned from our experiences. We had some good and some bad. What's next on the agenda?
It's just talking about our upcoming plans. Yeah, like what's next? What's next? You know, like it was all petitioning for a month now. So like, what's next up? I guess like in terms of, well, for one point of guidance is Billy created that survey that we sent out with the email for this, for the information for this meeting. It's a survey about like what elections you think the Green Party should pursue next year, what issues, what activism our local Green Party should pursue. And that survey, I guess, like is gonna maybe help us figure out our direction a little bit, and also sort of maybe like what municipalities we should be in, stuff like that. So definitely fill out that survey. And I guess, yeah, we could just have a loosely open conversation about our plans for the rest of the year and also for next year, or at least like start talking about that.
Well, you know what I'm going to suggest?
Go for it.
Mayoral
Yes,
candidate.
we run a mayor candidate.
Yeah. Like you were saying, like we should get like a group of Greens active in every city council district, right? Like that would be the first step for that.
Yeah, I did say that.
How would we go about doing that?
Well, one thing that we have is contact information for green allies in every single city council district. So it's a matter of like putting them in touch with each other, setting up meetings, giving them like a sense of direction, maybe some like finding some leaders to kind of get them going. It's all very loose right now. No, there's no concrete plans, and we don't have any specific like organizing manual or anything like that. Well, there are some resources on the GPOAC website, but it's very loose right now. And we tried to get some neighborhood groups going in before COVID started. So we had one going in the South Hills, we had one going in Regent Square, and we have one going in the West Hills. And what we did was we got them together, we got people together. We just had a conversation about like what people's interests are. There was kind of like a get to know each other meeting. And then the South Hills group was planning on meeting up to make signs for the youth climate rally. And the Regent Square group had like a few socials at a bar. But I guess like the first step was to kind of like build relationships between people, to kind of like have some sort of those connections to be able to build off in your local area. But what was next? I don't know. There was no exact plan, but that's what we were starting with anyway. It was just kind of getting people meeting. Um, yeah, I guess. What do people think is a good way to kind of get a neighborhood green group started? Kind of like an open question for everyone. I guess I'll do this stack now. Maybe I'll call on something. How about Riley? You want to talk about just like the neighborhood group you're a part of?
Yeah. I mean, like, we pretty much just had a couple meetings where we just like socialized with each other and tried to like figure out what exactly we all want out of that group. I guess we didn't really get that far into it because of COVID. We only had like, 2 or 3 meetings.
I can say that that meeting where they're planning to prepare for the youth climate strike, that was like scheduled for after the COVID quarantine began. So it was like, we never actually got beyond the social portion.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't really remember that meeting too much, which I guess is because we didn't have it.
Another cool thing about those meetings was that it was a good thing to invite new people to. You know, people who were kind of like green-minded but weren't involved in the Green Party. It was like much easier to invite them to have a beer or to have a slice of pizza than to invite them to like a meeting, which, you know, who the hell knows what's going to happen in the meeting. Could be really boring. And also it helps that it was near their home. So it was like they didn't have to travel very far. So that was big. We like got people that hadn't come out to a meeting in like years. I guess we should go back to the original question. Like, what do you think the Green Party should do for the rest of 2020 and for 2021? That's like the discussion question.
Well, I think we should try and get well. No, I guess that would be more of a 2021 thing. I was going to say that we should probably get some nationally known figures and see if they would be willing to campaign for some of our candidates. But I guess they would probably be busy with Howie's campaign right now if they were going to be involved at all. I don't know. I guess it couldn't hurt to ask.
All right, Andrew, I'm choosing you.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was just thinking, like, we could probably try to like get people to vote for Howie, don't you think? Would that be a good strategy? Because like I feel like I read somewhere that like our candidate, the Green Party candidate, needs to have a number of, I think it was 2% in the state of Pennsylvania. It was significant for something. I can't remember what it was. Do you guys know anything about that? Like the popular vote for president?
Well, I know our candidates have to get 2% of the total vote as petition signatures to get on the ballot. Is that the rule you're thinking of, or are you thinking of something else?
So like just to get on the ballot, once they're on, it doesn't matter. They don't need any certain amount in the election for anything.
I think if we get 5% nationally, we qualify for federal funding, and do we get major party status after that or no?
5%.
I don't know. I feel like Dominic would know the most about this, to be perfectly honest, but I'm not sure. Do you have any idea, Dominic?
About the percentages?
Yeah, like.
I mean, I know I've never heard of about. I mean, I really don't know much about this, but I haven't heard about like Pennsylvania thresholds. There are national thresholds which is like there might be a 2% one. There's like a 5% and a 10%. So one of them is like they'll qualify for federal funding. So it would mean that for the next presidential election, whoever the Green candidate is would be able to have a publicly funded campaign, which of course, like the duopoly parties never do that because they can get way more private money. But for a Green candidate, that would be a big advantage because it's more money than the Green candidate would usually get. There's another one that's like supposed to be a guaranteed spot in the debates. I'm skeptical of that one. I mean, that's like not, there's not like a law about that. I guess it's just a practice that the broadcasters do, and they could, easily change it, especially if they see a third party, getting enough votes. They'll be like, oh, well, never mind. We're going to do it a different way this year. I'm not sure what there's maybe at least one other one. Those are just national, though. I don't know of anything for Pennsylvania.
That thing you were saying about the debates, like that's actually exactly what happened in 2016. Like the rule said that you had to pull it 5% to get into the debates. And then Gary Johnson got to 14% and Jill Stein got to 7%. And then they said, no, wait, you have to pull it 15% and you have to do it 3 times.
And Democrats did the same thing during their primary debates.
Oh, I know, like that was such bullshit with Tulsi. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have a delegate. Oh, Tulsi Gabbard has a delegate. Never mind. You just have to. What was it then? Like they bent over backwards to get Bloomberg in, but like deliberately excluded Tulsi Gabbard. Ugh.
Beth, you said something in the comments. Do you want to say that? Oh, that's right.
Oh, I think we really need to run our local campaigns very hard. I think there are going to be people who aren't going to be happy about voting for a Green for president because they're very upset with Trump. But I still think some of them could be very open to someone local. In fact, anything except president. So I think we need to run hard this year, and we need to line people up for next year. But particularly not, I have to admit, I don't think we're going to get very far if we're emphasizing the presidential campaign. I think the other campaigns, I want you to vote for the Green Party. They say, oh, well, we got to get Trump out. And I say, yeah, but we've got these other people running, and we need to get them in.
Yeah, and a criticism people will often have of third parties is like, oh, well, you can't just go from nothing to having the president. You've got to build a third party like from the ground up. Start local and move up, and so I mean that's what we're trying to do here. All of us know that Howie Hawkins isn't going to win. But we can do things locally, and maybe there would be a Green president one day.
I can say that for my campaign, assuming I don't get knocked off the ballot, fingers crossed, our goals are organizing. So the goal we've talked about is getting 30% of the vote, 10,000 votes, raising $10,000. We are also trying to organize student communities because both CMU and Pitt and CMU, Pitt, and Chatham are all in my district. So we're trying to organize groups there, organize students around Green values. And I'd also like to organize the areas around Squirrel Hill. So those are the goals of my campaign. And I'm really trying to set us up well for 2021, whether that be like city council races or a mayoral race, which, I remember when Riley was first saying it, it felt really crazy, but now it feels like a little less crazy. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking for my personal campaign anyway.
I'm ahead of my time. Genius is never appreciated in the moment.
One thing that I've been thinking is that I think getting out and talking to people, I think we maybe were underestimating running in local elections in like municipalities. It seemed, because like there's so little effort put into a lot of local elections, it seemed like if we put in a little bit more effort than them, then we could beat them. But we have a little bit of an uphill battle because we're a new independent party no one's ever heard of. So I think we're going to need to put like 10 times the effort that someone like running as a Democrat or Republican would have to put in. So maybe we won't be able to run in like 10 municipalities next year. Maybe instead we should just like be in like a few municipalities, be there every single day, really get to know people, really get to know what issues are important, and also really engage people in their governance, their local governance. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be more in depth than maybe we were previously thinking, where it was like, as long as we have an organized campaign team, then we could just, we'll just beat other people who have no organized campaign team. I just don't think it's going to be that simple. Just, I don't know. I don't know exactly why I think that. It's just like a feeling I have.
I agree. I'm really interested to see what happens this year for your election, Jay, because this will be the first year. In 2018, there was still straight party ticket voting, right? Yeah, so this year people actually have to scroll through or go through on the paper. I don't know how they vote in Allegheny County, but they actually have to go all the way down to your race listed and like pick you or him instead of just saying Democrat, check, done. So I'm curious what that's going to do for his numbers. I don't think it'll necessarily affect like that people will actually pick you instead of him more, but I think that a lot of people won't bother to go that far down the ballot. So I think the total number of votes might decrease, but that's totally just speculation. Mail-in voting is really big. This is also the first year for you that we have mail-in voting, right? Aside from like absentee. Yeah. So it's just going to be very different, and I'm not sure if that will help us or hurt us. Over. Yeah, Beth says, and running hard means communicating our values and platforms over and over again. Yeah, every campaign training that I've done has said you have to get your message 7 times to a voter before they hear it. So we just have to keep repeating the same things, and it's gonna feel ridiculous, but we do have to keep getting the same message out there, make it consistent, and make people understand what we're about. Mike, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to say that Jay sort of hit on it, but you need to be there. You need to show up in these communities, and you need to be known. I mean, I've been elected as a Green in Trump country since 1989. Well, I've been a Green since 2010, but my neighbors know who I am, and they know what I stand for, and so they vote for me, even though I'm a Green in a place that voted for Trump. So I think that's important. You have to show up, and people need to know who you are and what you stand for, and that you're standing with them. So if you want to run municipal elections next time, then you need to already starting to show up.
Speaking of showing up, let's talk about some non-electoral things. One criticism that's often dished out of the Green Party is that all they care about is elections, and they just, they're not doing as much between elections. But what I'm trying to get us into the habit of doing is like an election is almost like a check of how we're doing in terms of like getting our message out there and also kind of like organizing communities and where we're at in terms of our activism. It's sort of like a poll, a regular poll. If we're doing a good job of getting out in the community, being active on the issues, people are learning about us, then we're going to do well in the election, So I don't know. One of the questions Billy asks in her survey is, what sort of activism should we prioritize or focus on in the coming time? And I guess it's just a question of like what do people think of the campaigns we've been involved with, and what is something that maybe we should think about getting involved in as a party. Who wants to go first? Alexis.
I've liked everything we've been involved in, so I'm not helpful in trying to focus.
Alexis, you're up.
Well, and I'm brand new, so this is something that might have already been done. But for me, like bicycles are a big thing, and public transit. But something like doing a bicycle maintenance day somewhere, and helping people fix their bikes or fixing their bikes for them. As a Green Party event might be like, like it's something that you're actually like actively helping, and then in the background you're promoting the Green Party.
I like bikes, that's for sure. And Connor is like a bike mechanic, so maybe that we have something coming together.
I like the idea that it would be our event, would have our name on it, has a clear connection with the environmental aspects of this party.
So when we had a meeting in the West Hills, I was talking to Garrett about our getting an adopt a highway sign and do cleanups, because that's something that we used to do back in York. We had a York Green sign on Interstate Highway, and we used to go out, I guess it was every month, or we used to try to get out every month and pick up trash. So that's something that's like permanent. It's a fixture, it's a highway sign, and it says Allegheny County Greens on it or something like that. So we never really finished doing that. I'm not saying that I want to be the one to head up such a thing, but it's an idea, and that's the only idea I have.
I like those two ideas. Like they're almost like they can be like socials for Greens, like get us together, do something fun. In addition to doing something productive and positive and like getting our name out there. They also kind of, build up some cohesion and like help us get to know each other a little bit.
Maybe also, I don't know, something with community gardens too, to like add as another social idea. I don't know. It just seems like people who are into gardening might be, I don't know, I'm a Russian stereotype, but I don't know, I just think that would go along with it.
One thing we've been pretty active about in like we're showing up together at our all of these defund the police protests and Black Lives Matter protests. For a while we were doing we were showing up like 15 at a time, 15 of us together when we like would put the call out to go together. Or, you know, sometimes it'd just be me and Steven. That was good too. You know, it depends on how many actions are in a week and how well we can get the word out, whether it's in the middle of the day or not. But I think we should keep doing that. It's good to just show up for those things. And it, you know, like helps the organizers turn out a bunch of people, you know, and also, yeah, it helps us get to know each other still together. We can like go out to grab some takeout or like get some beers or something like that afterwards. Also, it ties into the can't wait, or not the can't wait, the drop 12, those 12 demands that we endorsed about defunding the police and the other 11 demands. So that kind of ties in our policy and our activism together, which I think is always good. Well, we're getting to the 90-minute mark. I guess everyone just like roll these ideas around in your mind, answer the survey. We can continue the discussion on the Slack. And yeah, I don't know. We'll get together. It's all over the place right now, but we'll get together a cohesive plan for everyone to kind of give their feedback on, and then we can have it in place before the end of this year. Okay, last thing. Everyone has to say one good thing that's happened to them in the past month, and then call on another person. And it can't be related to the Green Party. That's another rule. Who's ready to go first? I'll go first. I got my bicycle fixed, and you know it was kind of out of commission for a long time, so I was a little stranded, especially with like not riding the bus a lot. Although the bike shares were really nice because I live near some stations. Okay, I'm gonna call on Rachel next.
Hello. Yeah, I went camping, and I highly recommend going camping. It was so healing. I've been going out to a lot of nature hikes. Like I go to Ohio POW or like a state park since all the pools are closed. But a lot of the lakes are actually not closed if you really like swimming and you don't have the pool. That's a really good idea. But I do think it's a good time to be out in nature when you can.
Now you got to call on someone. All right, I'm gonna call on Steve.
Guess like I can just go.
All right.
I graduated high school. Yeah. So,
Woo! Congratulations.
Kelly.
Wow, it's been a long month. One of my best friends came home from China, and that's why I was in quarantine, but she came home and that was so exciting. And now we're gonna live together with me and my sister and this best friend, and we're all gonna live in Squirrel Hill together in an apartment, and it's gonna be great. So I'm really excited. Steven.
Oh, so I'm working with like Dormond. I don't remember what committee organized it, but we're doing like a sidewalk pedestrian audit, which is really cool. It's like the first time I've been like involved with that, and it like I don't have a car, like so I'm like 100% pedestrian, and it's like cool to like have like to know that somebody is like listening to what I'm gonna say about like sidewalks and stuff, and we're like physically auditing them, and like everybody's out walking and like taking notes. Pretty cool. Alexis?
I bike. I put the tires on and did a tune-up all by myself for the first time, and I've been riding for the last couple of weeks. Exciting. I don't know who else to call. I don't know. Beth.
Well, it's not fair because I said the same thing while I was introducing myself about what interests me. But I've actually persuaded the Quakers to let me run an interest group, talking about the demands that the Black activists are making. I've been very frustrated with the Quakers who think they have a working group against racism that doesn't ever address racism. So now we're going to talk about what might.
You got to call on someone, Beth.
Who's left? Give me a hint. Matt?
Dominic, Matt, and Marcy. She said Matt? Okay.
Oh, Matt? Okay.
So for me, my 7-year-old niece came up, or my sister dropped her off like last week. So just hanging out with her, going to the park. We went to Highland Park and fed the geese. Just doing we painted rocks and a whole bunch of different kid activities. That was really fun just to spend time with family since I couldn't go down there and see them. How about
I guess that
Dominique?
would be me. Oh, sorry.
Or Marcy can go. Okay, I'll go. Something good that happened for me last month was my wife and I started our first garden in our backyard, and it's going well so far. And we have a cucumber plant that's a monster. Okay, Marcy, your turn.
I was at the Green Party Presidential Nominating Committee meeting or convention. That was a good thing.
All right, that's everyone. Everyone cross your fingers so that all of our candidates survive the challenge period. And yeah, we have all of our committees are meeting this month after not really meeting very much last month. So we're trying to get back into the groove of things. And Stop Banking the Bomb is this Friday. If anyone can make it downtown during the day, we'll be doing our text outreach for that. Yeah, just cross your fingers. Oh, and we're going to try to get our neighborhood groups starting to meet this month. Basically, we only have the South Hills and Regent Square, and we'll try to get the West Hills going again. If you anywhere where there's a bunch of greens, or even just someone who wants to start one, we have contacts all over the place. We just kind of need to give them a call, so just let me know, let Kelly know. And yeah, don't forget to check in on the Slack. We should probably do the Slack chat thing again sometime. We'll do it not this week, but next week. Yeah. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming, everyone. Hope you have a good evening.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.